Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 206 based on novel. So let's start. The meteor-like thunder that led Wang Lin to the Thunder Celestial Realm became more crazy the moment it hit the dark red thunder. The amount of thunder inside it suddenly increased several-fold and reached an terrifying degree. It had entered Wang Lin's body like a crazy dragon. In just a breath of time, it caused Wang Lin's body to feel numb and completely locked Wang Lin's origin soul. This phenomenon was so fast that Wang Lin didn't even have time to think. His whole body was frozen, as if someone had casted the stop spell on him. When the meteor-like thunder collided with the dark red thunder, he was brought into the Thunder Celestial Realm. Wang Lin wasn't able to check his surroundings at all because the thunder surrounding him was falling even faster than a stone smashing down. It carried with it a thunderous rumble as it smashed directly onto a broken fragment of the Thunder Celestial Realm. The meteor broke through the air and smashed into the ground, causing the entire fragment to shake and setting off a huge dust storm. At this moment, the fragment was so dusty that one couldn't see past 30 feet. The entire earth shook violently like there was a giant earth dragon churning underground. After a long time, the dust storm settled and the earth gradually settled down as well. Only the hole on the surface of the eastern part of the fragment proved that everything that had just happened was real. Green smoke was coming from the hole. When the wind blew, the green smoke dissipated. At the end of the pit there was thunder moving through the earth and there was even some scorched earth. This hole was very deep, but the actual depth was unknown. At the very bottom lay Wang Lin. Blood was coming out of his orifices and many parts of his body were injured from the impact. He was in an extremely sorry state. Although this Thunder Celestial Realm was more stable than the Rain Celestial Realm, it was still on the brink of collapse. The only difference was between 50 and 100 steps, basically implying although the difference is huge in term of ratio, but overall it's still pretty small difference in grander scheme of things. After experiencing the massive shock of the meteor-like thunder, the fragment became more unstable. Not long after the hole was formed by Wang Lin, the edge of the hole began to collapse and there were series of muffled rumbles. After the dust settled, there were only ruins, and the hole was completely buried. A white-haired old man's body seemed to appear out of the void. He arrived next to the ground where the hole was before looking down and smiling. I have lived for a long time, and this is the first time I've seen someone so greedy to enter the Thunder Celestial Realm early like this. Eh? The old man's eyes narrowed. After taking careful look, he muttered, "This little guy's origin soul is giving off such powerful thunder pressure, and even his body is made of thunder. What a mess, is he a human or a spirit? If he continues like this, he will become a thunder spirit sooner or later. However, the location of his landing is a bit interesting. Forget it, since he was seen by this old man, that means we are fated." The old man's eyes revealed a look of interest. He raised his right hand and pressed down on the ground. A ray of light quickly passed by the ground. Then the old man's body flickered and disappeared. There had been many people who were fated with him, but each of them ended up very helpless. Time slowly passed. Deep underground, Wang Lin slowly opened his eyes. Massive pain was coming from all over his body. Even his origin soul wasn't operating properly. Wang Lin wryly smiled as he looked around. This was a collapsed stone room with some soil trickling in from above. After looking around, Wang Lin struggled to sit up and closed his eyes to cultivate. He slowly activated his origin soul and found a trace of thunder that was incompatible with his own thunder. This thunder was the reason why his origin soul wasn't operating properly. The surroundings were completely silent without any sound, and Wang Lin was completely immersed in his cultivation. At this moment, the celestial guard walked out of his shadow. It sat down opposite of Wang Lin and protected him. 7 days passed by in a flash. Wang Lin opened his eyes and spat out mouthful of foul air. There was a trace of thunder in there. I can't take this kind of risk in the future. Fortunately, the amount of thunder that disturbed my origin soul wasn't much. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to expel it in a short period of time. After expelling that sliver of thunder, Wang Lin's injuries began to recover and his origin soul healed. His body was damaged, but it didn't affect his cultivation. Wang Lin looked at the earth above him, then he took a step forward and charged straight toward the earth. Since I came to the Thunder Celestial Realm, I need to take a good look to see how it's different from the Rain Celestial Realm. Wang Lin's body turned into a ray of light, but right when he touched the dirt above him, there was a flash of light from the dirt. As if he had hit a wall of iron, there was a loud rumble and he bounced off the dirt. After landing on the ground, Wang Lin retreated a few steps and his eyes were filled with terror. This dirt contains origin energy. Wang Lin took a deep breath and his eyes filled with lightning. As he took a closer look, his expression darkened. This isn't origin energy formed naturally, it's from a spell that someone casted. Someone doesn't want me to leave. Wang Lin's eyes became cold. Although he was injured when he smashed down, he was more or less aware of his surroundings. Although the ground was harder than normal, it wouldn't stop spells from going through. However, this dirt had changed, which immediately shocked Wang Lin. Was it someone who casted a spell or a change that occurred due to the celestial thunder being too violent? Wang Lin pondered for a moment and with a thought, the celestial guard charged out. It tried to break through at multiple locations. The result was that every direction was impassable aside from directly forward. Wang Lin's expression became even more gloomy. He was even more certain this was man-made. Someone had seen him and imprisoned him here, leaving him only one road. They even arrogantly told him that the only path left was forward. Wang Lin silently pondered. He had used several days to heal and didn't know if the Thunder Celestial Realm had opened. He also wasn't able to deduce the identity of the person who used the spell. However, this person is able to lock down a part of the Celestial Realm. I fear that this person's cultivation is not simple. However, what purpose does he have for wanting me to move forward? This method doesn't make sense. If that person is hostile to me, he could have just attacked directly. Wang Lin pondered and his eyes lit up. He then looked at the hole the Celestial Guard made while looking for a way out. Forget it, it is pointless to stay here. Let's see what mysteries lie ahead. Wang Lin's eyes became cold as he slapped his bag of holding and a golden celestial brush appeared in his hand. While holding the brush, a sliver of red light came out from the crack between his eyebrows. This made him look very evil. Then his right hand formed a seal and a celestial wind immediately appeared, blowing away the dirt before him and revealing a passage. Wang Lin's divine sense spread out and found countless winding channels leading to the unknown. His divine sense spread out even further but still wasn't able to find where it ended. After pondering for a while, Wang Lin's body charged directly forward. As he charged forward, his divine sense was spread out, looking for an exit. As he rushed through the tunnels, he tried breaking through at multiple points, but all of the dirt was reinforced by the spell, so he wasn't able to charge out. As he moved, his eyes narrowed. His divine sense had found the exit at a fork ahead. Wang Lin suddenly sped out toward the exit. However, he was a bit puzzled because the search for the exit seemed a bit too easy. Could this place not have been created by a spell but caused by the thunder? Wang Lin began to ponder and slowed down. Just at this moment, the exit he was locked onto released a flash of light. When the light disappeared, the exit also disappeared without a trace. Wang Lin was startled and his expression became even more gloomily. After pondering a bit, he let out a cold snort and headed toward the exit. After arriving at the exit, he looked around for a long time. He didn't say anything as he turned around and headed for the other fork. His divine sense was spread out and carefully observing each tunnel. Half an hour later, his divine sense found another exit. Grey light was coming through the exit, clearly that exit led to the surface. Wang Lin didn't hesitate and charged directly at the exit. He was already moving very fast, but he couldn't teleport. However, he soon arrived near the exit. When H was only 100 feet from the exit, he rushed forth. However, just at this moment, the exit gave off a flash of white light and disappeared. Wang Lin had missed the exit. He clenched his fist and put on an extremely gloomy expression. He then raised his head. It was as if his eyes could penetrate the earth. After taking a few deep breaths, he turned around and left. This place must have been created by a spell. As Wang Lin gloomily moved through the endless tunnel, he calmed his previously anxious mentality. These exits were clearly being controlled by someone. They wanted him to see the exit but not be able to leave. If he became anxious and rushed, it would be even more difficult to leave. At this moment, somewhere in the Thunder Celestial Realm, the old man had his hand behind his back. He smiled and muttered, "It has been a long time since someone fated with this old man has appeared. If this junior can leave within 7 days, that means he is even more fated. I really hope this little guy can make it out in 7 days. There are many interesting places in this Thunder Celestial Realm that are extremely suitable for people fated with this old man." 3 days of time flashed by. Wang Lin was moving through the underground passage like lightning with his divine sense spread out. He would find an exit almost every half an hour, but he would never head over and continued his own journey. Using 3 days of time, he walked through all the passages underground. As a result, a complete map appeared in his mind. He also found the method to leave this place. Since this place collapsed when I fell, that means that this place is unstable. So even if this place is sealed with a powerful spell, it still won't be able to withstand the collapse of the celestial realm. Wang Lin calculated that staying in this tunnel would get him out of here. To be more exact, this location was the connecting point for all the tunnels. Almost all of the branching paths were connected to this tunnel. Exits that appear at fixed times to lure me and make me increasingly irritated when I try to rush at them. This person sure is bored. A hint of coldness flashed across Wang Lin's eyes. How could he be willing to be fooled by another person like this? Right now he had to break through this scheme with his own strength. Wang Lin raised his head and locked onto the dirt above him. He then slapped his bag of holding and the god-slaying war chariot flew out, turning into the Thunder Beast. At the moment the Thunder Beast appeared, it let out a roar. It was connected to Wang Lin, so without waiting for Wang Lin's order, a large amount of thunder moved through its body and gathered at its silver horn. At this moment, its silver horn gave off a bright light. As it roared, the beast charged up carrying the powerful light. It was like a sharp sword that charged toward the dirt above the tunnel. A loud rumble echoed across the passages and a violent tremble suddenly appeared. Wang Linu could clearly feel the powerful tremble that spread across the tunnels and immediately affected all the other tunnels. The Thunder Beast's body was knocked back. The powerful rebound force was something it almost couldn't bear. After retreating a few steps, its body trembled, but its eyes were filled with battle intent and an unyielding gaze. Just at this moment, a shadow flickered behind Wang Lin and the Celestial Guard flew out. Its body was covered in a golden light and it threw a punch at the spot where the Thunder Beast's attack landed. Boom! The earth-shattering explosion caused a violent tremble that spread across the area. The Celestial Guard's body was sturdy, so it withdrew its fist and threw another punch, causing more trembling. The rebound force was intense, and after 5 punches, the Celestial Guard had to back up. The golden glow around the Celestial Guard dimmed and its aura became unstable. Wang Lin's eyes were calm. The location he chose couldn't be wrong. At this moment, the Celestial Guard retreated and Wang Lin took out the Celestial Sword containing the awakened Shuligua. The Celestial Sword rushed forth along with Shuligua's cursing. The Thunder Beast, Celestial Guard, and Celestial Sword's successive attacks caused the fragment to tremble violently, especially this tunnel. Because this tunnel was connected to all the other tunnels trembled violently as well. Wang Lin let out a roar. Then his hand formed a seal and the celestial spiritual energy in his body surged. His origin soul gave off thunder and thunder gathered in his hand. He threw the thunder, and the Thunder Beast also roared and charged out with the thunder. The Celestial Guard followed closely after. The entire fragment began to tremble violently. At this moment, the violent trembling caused the tunnel to collapse. The collapse of one tunnel caused a chain reaction, so all the connecting tunnels instantly collapsed as well. The collapse spread and a large amount of dirt fell. However, a trace of origin energy appeared and surrounded the surrounding area. The origin energy threads were very dense and rarely intersected. However, every time the lines intersected, a light door appeared. Wang Lin's pupils shrank. He didn't think the spell would still exist after the collapse of the tunnels. However, without the obstruction of the dirt, it was much easier for Wang Lin to leave through the exit that appeared every half an hour. At the moment the next light door appeared, Wang Lin's body flickered and he charged out of the door at his fastest speed. The Celestial Guard and Thunder Beast followed closely after. At the moment he came out, he didn't pause, he stepped into the void and let out a big breath. What is this person's purpose? If he wanted to kill me, it wouldn't have been hard with this spell. If he wanted to trap me, then simply make those doors disappear. However, why? Wang Lin lowered his head and looked at the ground. The line forming the prison was still there. After pondering a bit, Wang Lin put away the Thunder Beast and Celestial Guard. However, when he looked at the line of origin energy below him, he felt his scalp tingle. He looked around as he pondered and muttered, "This place is the Thunder Celestial Realm. Celestial jades should be dispensable things for those cultivators that have stepped into the second step. After all, second step cultivators focus on origin energy." This question had been sitting at the bottom of his heart ever since he found out about origin energy. He wondered why so many second step cultivators were so eager to come to the Thunder Celestial Realm. After meeting Shengong Hu, Wang Lin made some guesses and gradually understood something. Aside from the celestial jades, there were celestial pills and treasures in the Thunder Celestial Realm. Although some were taken every time it opened, there would still be some remaining. As for whether one could find any, it would depend on one's own fortune. There were even rumors about complete celestial spells. Although most of the celestial spells were incomplete, the cultivators of the All-Heaven Star system was confident that there must be complete celestial spells here. In addition to all of this, there was another key reason. So far, 8 completely intact corpses of celestials had been found in the Thunder Celestial Realm. If one could find the corpse of a celestial, even if it was only a clue, they could sell it to the Thunder Celestial Temple. If the clues were accurate, one would receive great benefits. If one could obtain a corpse of a celestial by themselves and handed it to the Thunder Celestial Temple, then the individual gains would be unimaginable. Even the benefits one's family would receive would be a great harvest. If the person who obtained the corpse of a celestial had enough talent, they may even be taken as a disciple of one of the 10 great elders. From then on, they would be above others and their futures would be limitless. Aside from all of this, what really attracted second-step cultivators of the All-Heaven Star system to this place were the origin energy pits. More than 10,000 years ago, a cultivator found a semi-abandoned origin energy pit. That cultivator was only at the ascendant stage, and after cultivating inside the origin energy pit, he miraculously broke through the first step and reached the second step. For some reason, this news spread and caused every cultivator to go crazy over it. As for how the origin energy pit formed, no one knew and no one had ever seen it the countless times the Thunder Celestial Realm had opened before. It was as if this origin energy pit had appeared out of nowhere. There was a large amount of origin energy inside the origin energy pit. The origin energy there was extremely rich and didn't need any refining. Even if one wasn't at the second step, they only needed to cultivate to absorb it. Various rumors spread by different people caused countless cultivators to gather at the Thunder Celestial Realm. Aside from the origin energy pit, there was a tool called the Origin Tool by All Heaven cultivators. The energy contained inside the Origin Tool was different from the energy inside celestial jades. If a first-step cultivator absorbed it, it would become celestial spiritual energy, but if a second-step cultivator absorbed it, it would become origin energy. All of these were the real reasons why Wang Lin was tempted to come. He was also suspicious about why he had never even heard of these things in the Rain Celestial Realm. There was no answer, but he vaguely guessed that the Rain Celestial Realm was a little small compared to the Thunder Celestial Realm. This, of course, could be the fact that the collapse was more serious, so a lot of areas no longer existed. However, it was also possible that some areas were made inaccessible by others or weren't open to the public at all. My cultivation still isn't enough. Wang Lin let out a sigh, then his whole body turned into a ray of light and he was about to leave. At this moment, the lines of origin energy suddenly collapsed and disappeared without a trace. Wang Lin stopped and stared at the scene. At this moment, a faint fluctuation of celestial spiritual energy came from the collapsed ground. A grayish-white handle was half exposed inside the dirt. The celestial spiritual energy fluctuations were coming from this object. On a fragment somewhere in the Thunder Celestial realm, the old man had his hands behind his back and was staring a towering mountain ahead of him. He licked his lips and was about to walk forward, but he suddenly stopped as if he had detected something and laughed. That little guy took the shortcut, or else it would have been impossible for him to leave within 7 days. However, there is no harm in taking a shortcut. Since you want to become a fated person with this old man that badly, then this old man will reluctantly agree. However, there are still more important matters at hand. This old man has prepared materials for tens of thousands of years for this matter to finally succeed. After I retrieve this mountain soul and place the great all-heaven formation, I'll come and find you. The old man's eyes revealed a hint of excitement. With his experience, there was hardly anything that could make him excited. If there was anything that brought any excitement to his life, then it would be this terrifying plan that he had been working on for tens of thousands of years. The old man chuckled as he stepped forward toward the towering mountain. This old man will become the #1 person in the all-heaven star system. Once this plan is complete, I can sweep across the Alliance star system and make that damn Master Zhongxian die without a grave. As for Wang Lin, he slowly landed, reached out, and pulled out the thing from the ground. This thing was incomplete, as if it was part of a water vase. His eyes shined and looked at the ground. He could vaguely feel that there were several more fluctuations underground. Why didn't I notice this before? I only detected it after this place collapsed. Wang Lin looked at it and pondered. Just at this moment, a ray of light broke through horizon. This ray of light was black and seemed to carry a dense devilish energy. The ray of black light seemed to notice something and then it charged directly toward Wang Lin. The devilish energy contained undisguised killing intent and arrogance. Junior up ahead, leave behind the thing in your hand and scram out of here. If you disobey, die. What followed the voice was a devilish flame that covered the entire sky. The black flame emitted a heat that could burn one's origin soul, and it instantly covered the sky. It was as if the thin layer of clouds in the sky was eroded by the devilish flame and was filled with devilish energy. It was as if they only needed to gather the water within for an intense rainstorm to begin. Carrying a trace of rain, the flame moved with the wind and rushed toward the ground. The devilish energy around the ground became monstrous in an instant. If someone were watching from far away, they would see that the devilish energy had formed a huge phantom with a single horn. A purple-robed young man appeared on the head of the phantom. His eyes were giving off a bloodthirsty light and his black hair was floating behind him. He stepped on the phantom and then it rushed toward the ground. Wang Lin stood on the ground as he calmly looked up at the sky. He waved his right hand and put the broken handle into his bag. When the devilish phantom closed in, the young man on top looked down at Wang Lin and coldly said, "You're courting death." He didn't move, but the rain near him quickly condensed and rushed out. Rain formed arrows that penetrated through the air. They flew toward Wang Lin while creating a strange, whistling sound. The youth was at the illusory yin stage, and it was obvious that he wasn't new to this cultivation. Although he wasn't at the peak, he was still at the mid-stage. His cultivation could match the Thunder Daoist, and his devilish spells made him even more fierce. Even the Thunder Daoist wouldn't necessarily have the upper hand against him. The arrows formed by the rain contained a fierce killing intent. Wang Lin's eyes became cold and he retreated several steps. His hand reached out and bursts of thunder exploded forth. At the same time, balls of thunder appeared, and they were each connected by lightning. With a point of his finger, these balls of thunder charged toward the arrows. The moment the balls of thunder closed in on the arrows, they immediately exploded. The violent explosion caused the arrows to immediately disintegrate. The countless rain arrows all dissipated 100 feet before Wang Lin. The youth above the devilish phantom calmly and slowly said, "A little interesting." However, before he finished speaking, not only did Wang Lin not retreat, he stepped forward. He was already angry from being trapped inside the tunnel, and now he had met this youth that attacked with killing intent right away. It was as if he was so weak in everyone's eyes that they could attack him as they wished. It seems I have been too low-key in the all-heaven star system. If the youth was at the corporeal yang stage, Wang Lin might have hesitated and chosen to retreat. However, he had killed illusory yin cultivators before, and he stepped directly toward the phantom. Using devilish spells before me. I have even battled a scattered devil. With one step, Wang Lin stepped into the air. He then raised his right hand and his origin soul became active. A large amount of thunder came from his body and quickly gathered in his right hand. A blue ball of thunder suddenly appeared, and it simply contained too much thunder. The moment it appeared, it caused the surroundings to change. This place was the Thunder Celestial Realm, so it was not lacking in thunder. The moment Wang Lin's ball of thunder appeared, strands of thunder appeared on the ground and even the sky seemed to be affected. Countless strands of thunder were attracted to the ball of thunder. Holding the ball of thunder, Wang Lin jumped forward and pushed the ball. The ball of thunder rushed directly toward the youth on the devilish phantom. The youth's expression slightly changed. Not only did the killing intent in his eyes not lessen, it became even stronger. His hand rapidly formed seals, and at the moment the ball of thunder closed in, he shouted, "Devil, devour!" Two bloodthirsty devilish lights suddenly appeared on the originally blurry-looking devilish phantom. Then a crack appeared and became bigger and bigger before it devoured the ball of thunder. Such weak thunder isn't even qualified for me to use my devilish flame. The youth raised his right hand and all the rain gathered. The rain moved around inside his hand. In an instant, a long spear formed. It was formed by rain, but it seemed to be made of ink. The spear was black and seemed to be flowing. Then the youth waved his hand and a water curtain charged toward Wang Lin with dense devilish energy. Wang Lin was calm as he slapped his bag of holding and something appeared in his hand. It was the Celestial Mountain. The moment it appeared in his hand, it immediately increased in size until it was as big as a mountain. At the moment the water curtain arrived, Wang Lin pressed his right hand on the mountain with a mysterious light in his eyes. When he raised his hand, strands of the mountain soul were pulled out as if they were drawing each other out. When Wang Lin's right hand completely lifted, the mountain soul had turned into a ball of mist in his hand and was giving off an ancient aura. Wang Lin's body was like lighting. He was so fast that at the moment he moved, he caused a thunderous roar. Holding the mist in his hand, Wang Lin rushed out right when the water curtain was closing in. The water pierced into his body and immediately turned into countless drops of cold, devilish water droplets that instantly surrounded Wang Lin. However, as soon as it surrounded Wang Lin, the mist in his hand gave off a rich celestial spiritual energy fluctuation that allowed Wang Lin to charge through the water curtain. Without pausing at all, he charged forward and pressed the mist toward the youth on the devilish phantom. The youth's expression sank the moment the mist appeared. He immediately threw the spear and it charged out like a dragon. The spear rushed through the air and penetrated the ball of mist. After Wang Lin threw the ball of mist, he didn't stop but rushed forward and shouted, "Scatter!" The ball of mist suddenly spread out and swelled several times, becoming a dense mist that covered the entire spear. The youth's expression changed and was about to use a spell. Just at this moment, Wang Lin's eyes became cold and he shouted, "Thunder, explode!" The ball of thunder devoured by the devilish phantom hadn't disintegrated, it was hiding. At the moment Wang Lin shouted, the powerful thunder exploded within the phantom's body. A blue light immediately appeared within the phantom. The light became bright and brighter before instantly reaching its limit. Finally, in a series of thunderous rumbles, countless bolts of thunder burst from the phantom's body. Its large, illusory body completely collapsed. The drastic change caused the youth's expression to become even more gloomy. At the breath before the phantom collapsed, the youth had already left the phantom's body. However, Wang Lin had already closed in. Wang Lin's shadow flashed and the celestial guard quickly stepped out. In the youth's eyes, it was as if Wang Lin had split into two. The celestial guard's entire body gave off a golden glow that flowed like water toward its right hand. At this moment, it seemed as if the celestial guard was holding the sun. One punch was thrown. Because Wang Lin's cultivation had reached the peak of the late stage of ascendant, it wasn't as easy as before to see that the celestial guard was hiding in his shadow. All of this happened in an extremely short period of time. It happened so fast that the youth didn't even have time to think. He didn't expect a mere peak late-stage ascendant cultivator to be able to create a ball of thunder this powerful and draw out the mountain soul. What shocked him the most was the punch from the puppet. The storm formed by this punch was too powerful. Not only was the golden light blinding, even his origin soul felt pain when the light shined on him. This punch was the peak of the celestial guard's power. It was a punch that could shatter the world. It was incredibly fast and landed directly before the youth. The consecutive changes caught him completely unprepared. From the slow attack at his start to the sudden change that came after, the youth felt a life and death crisis he hadn't felt in a very long time. He didn't hesitate to quickly retreat, as this punch made his scalp tingle. He had a feeling that if he didn't retreat and was hit by this punch, even with his illusory yin cultivation, he would undoubtedly die. As the youth retreated, the celestial guard's punch exploded. The youth bit the tip of his tongue without hesitation and spat out essence blood that contained origin energy. His expression became fierce and he shouted, "Screen of Dawn Lin." The essence blood exploded like water falling in hot oil. The blood mist gathered before the youth to block the puppet's punch. When the punch landed on the blood mist, a sound that shocked the entire fragment suddenly echoed across the fragment. This sound was beyond loud and the impact rapidly spread. It was as if the entire earth had 10 feet of it scrapped off by the shockwave. Large amounts of dirt flew up into the air and debris that gave off celestial spiritual energy fluctuation appeared. The blood mist dissipated and the puppet fell to the ground before retreating several more steps to steady itself. However, the golden light was completely gone and it seemed to have used all its energy. It was clear to anyone that the celestial guard's body was trembling lightly. The youth that came with murderous intent flew toward the ground like a meteor and smashed into the ground with a bang. An illusory black lotus emitting a powerful, black devilish flame appeared above him. "In 5,000 years, you're the first person to make me Xu Han." However, before he could finish speaking, there was a loud, muffled explosion from inside the mist formed by the mountain soul. There was a loud echo as the mist dissipated and the thread returned to the celestial mountain. The spear inside had lost its power and had dissipated, and the rain fell to the earth. This video will end here.